Hey kids, Flexing Teacher Weber here. Today in class, I gave you these questions to try, and I said I would make a video tonight with an answer key so you could check your answers. So here is said video. These are the kinds of questions you'll have to do in your test tomorrow. So the first question is 41 over 250, and you want to do a decimal and a percent. I'm going to flip over to here. And we have 41 over 250. And we want to do decimal. And we want to do percent. I am working on my brand spanking new iPad today. I'm pretty excited. It's way easier to work off of. So the decimal, 41 over 250. To get that as a decimal, you make a fraction of 10, 100, or 1,000. We practice these facts every day. 250 times 4 is 1,000. 41 times 4. Do 40 times 4 is 160. 1 times 4 is 4. So that's going to be 164. And 3 decimal spots mean 3 zeros mean 3 decimal spots. And that will be a 1, a 6, and a 4. 0 in front. The percent, of course, you take that decimal and multiply by 100. That's just the decimal 1, 2, and that's 16 and 0.4%. And so the decimal is 164 thousandths, and the percent is 16 and 0.4%. All right, the next one, the decimal is 5 thousandths. So we're going to take that decimal, 5 thousandths. And we're going to make that decimal into a percent and a fraction. The percent, always take that decimal. And multiply by 100, shifts the decimal 1, 2. And that's going to give you 0 and 0.5%. Or you could just say that's a 0.5%. The fraction, 3 decimal spots in the decimal, which means there are going to be 1, 2, 3 zeros in the denominator of the fraction. And then we need a 5 in the thousandth spot, so 5 thousandths. Or we have a 5 in the thousandth spot, so 5 thousandths. All the digits behind the decimal become the numerator of the fraction, but we don't need the 0, 0 in front. Put in lowest terms by dividing by 5. Divide by 5. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 10 divided by 5 is 2. Tack on 2 zeros for 200. That's 1 over 200. So, the fraction in this one is 1 over 200. And the percent is 0 and 0.5%. Okay, the next one. These ones always throw kids off. 2 and 0.7%. 2 and 0.7%. It is so nice working off a big screen now. And we're going to make that a fraction and a decimal. The fraction, since it's a percent, this is the key thing to remember. Percent means fraction out of 100. And that's 2 out of 100, but not just 2 out of 100, it's 2.7 out of 100. And we can't have a decimal in the fraction. We want that decimal to move 1 to the right so that we have a whole number. And the way we do that is by multiplying by 10. And that'll move the decimal 1 to the right, and that's okay, just as long as we multiply this by 10. And that's going to give you 27 over 1,000. And it's our lucky day. That's in lowest terms. The decimal. There are 1, 2, 3 zeros, which means there's going to be 1, 2, 3 decimal spots with a 0, a 2, and a 7, and a 0 in front. So the decimal is 27 thousandths. Let's fill in our chart. So the fraction is 27 over 1,000. And the decimal is 27 thousandths. The last question. These ones are the trickiest. A fractional percent, 4 2/5%. Let's take a look-see at this one. So these ones always throw people off because the kids look at it and they say, it's already a fraction. I don't need to do anything. But it's actually a percent that has a fractional part. So remember, percent, when you see that percent symbol, that means out of 100. And this would be 4 out of 100. But not just 4 out of 100, 4 2/5 out of 100. That's the right math, but it's not the right form. It's the 2/5 that are the issue. So we take the 2/5 and we make that to decimal form by timesing by 2 times by 2. And that's 4 out of 10, which is 0 4/10. So we take our trusty eraser and we erase that 2/5 and we make this. Look at the close-up. I love this. 4 4/10. And now we make this decimal move 1 to the right by timesing by 10 times the bottom by 10. And you're going to get 44 over 1,000. At that point, I would do the decimal. Three decimal spots means 3 zeros, 0, 4, 4, and a 0 in front. And to get it in lowest terms, you could divide by 2 twice, or you could divide by 4, because 44 divided by 4 equals 11. And I know 100 divided by 4 is 250. So I'm making a mistake. I know 100 divided by 4 is 25. So 1,000 divided by 4 is 250. And that fraction is in lowest terms. So I'll go fill that in. That's 11 over 250. And that's 44 thousandths. So there's a little review of what you need to know for the test tomorrow, in addition to a couple word problems and some facts. Make sure you actually practice some questions, do some questions that you've already done before. Practice makes perfect, kids. Repetition is the key. I'll see you tomorrow. That's it for now. Trust me, I'm flexing. Flexing Teacher Weber out.